Do it live.
Exactly, exactly. All right, so we got that started. And okay, technically live. Let me see how the hell I invite you now. Okay, so we send the link. The question is, what all will that link do now?
You have to put it in the chat.
Is what all will that link do now? Oh dang, I'm now looping in on myself. Hang on. Make that thing go
Yeah.
away. Boom. Wait, now I can't see chat. Well, okay, here. Let's see. If I go to this thing, go over to the dashboard on the phone, will I be able to see it just fine? First of all, audio check. Can you hear me just fine?
You were coming in on the stream.
Was it coming in? Okay. Uh, okay, looks like your audio is showing up fine. Let's see, why is it not showing me the chat now? That's not helpful. Did the link work for you?
You have to put the link in the YouTube chat, I believe.
Huh, okay. Let's give that a shot. Let me mute it on my end so it's not like looping in on itself again.
Yards thing, I think.
You cut out there for a moment.
Like a StreamYards thing. I
Or
think that's
Streamlabs thing. Again, I'm just using basic old OBS at this point.
Gotcha. Is my audio coming in? On your
should be. It's showing audio on my end. Again, I'm just using basic old OBS at this point.
Let me mute
oh,
this.
Hang on. It's okay. For anyone that showed up so far, by the way, we are trying to figure out what's going on here. Having a few little technical hiccups. All right. For anyone that showed up so far, by the way, we are trying to figure out what's going on here. Okay, I'm something's looping.
Hold on one second. So, okay. Ask them if they can hear someone else.
I'm seeing comments saying that they can hear both.
All right. I mean, that's fine then. Cool.
Okay. Just to confirm, can you all hear Mr. Hutch? Just if I could get confirmation on that.
Hey guys, how's it going? Can everyone hear me? Testing 1, 2, 3.
Can you hear the person? Okay. Alrighty. Well, y'all, welcome to this. What do we call it? Technically a podcast kind of dealing. No one's using an iPod at this point, but whatever.
What we're going with.
Is this POTD? Yeah. Technically, this is just for like something in the background. It's kind of late POTD.
Couldn't get both cameras to work, so you know.
Yeah.
We're just the gameplay background.
It's something. It's something. But all right, yeah, we just kind of wanted to chatter about how just kind of how stuff's going with this with TOR and well, just kind of the kind of stuff they changed, what's new, what's good, all that kind of business.
Yeah. So first, I want to ask you, Coffee. What do you like most in terms of the changes from PSP to Reborn specifically? Because I never played the PS1 version, so I can't speak about it. So.
I just love how friggin' smooth it is. Like just the whole thing of you can pretty much just get some random crackpot idea in your head of just some random build or whatever, slap it together, and realistically, it's about 80% of the way towards being all optimized right off the get-go. Like you can just go for it and that's it. I love PSP to pieces, but that was always one of those things that was like, man, it would be real nice to just be able to try out this build without a whole bunch of setup first. So.
That is very, and I feel like there are builds in Reborn that require just a little setup. Like, let's say, for instance, Ozma with Mighty Impact and with Dragon Slayer or Beast Slayer combined. Like it can one-shot that unit with 2700 HP, and it doesn't take too much setup because the new staffs have charge 100 MP. You give that to her, you just gotta wait 2 turns and then she can one-shot something.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, what I like most is how they got rid of the 10 skill slots, and it didn't seem detrimental. Like it didn't seem that bad because they added parry, because they added counterattack, because they added all these things on gear, switchfoot, Wade. And I still wish we had a fifth skill slot. I'm still gonna say that till the end of time. I think there should be 5 skill slots.
I mean, fair.
I'm not calling for 6. I think 6 would be too much, but I think 5 would be the sweet spot. But I just I just like how the changes feel. I feel like a lot of the changes feel good, and I'd say the biggest change is the necromancer, because you couldn't really, like, you could recruit a necromancer in the story, and it was tough to recruit necromancers in the PSP outside of like the one necromancer that you could recruit
well, there
from
was
like
always
chapter
the old
route.
like the you had one technically that you could get in every route
Yeah,
a little bit early, but they were always kind of a pain in the neck to get a hold of, and they never had their spells. That
it was
was
like,
the thing.
it was like a 5% chance, I think, and like I went for it because it was still good to have, but once you got in the late game, you know, because it was the requirement to get Cassandra before you can actually like get class marks, and that was always the thing, because stats were very important in the PSP version from converting from class to class, because you had to learn the skill first and then switch to the class,
True. Oh,
or learn the skill first and then switch to the class. So
by the
that
way,
was always that was always rough.
quick interruption. Have you heard about the Ogre Blade thing?
Oh yeah, because this is what I did in PSP version. I made Canopus a Buccaneer. I marched all the way down, did all the shit, got the Ogre Blade, did the swap body thing to teach him the fusel skill.
30 hours to pull a
And
trigger.
yeah, because because he was nuts. Canopus was nuts with the sword and with the fusel. Even if he didn't have finishers, even if he didn't have the fusel skills, he was nuts. It was a great combo. He did a lot of damage. He was very quick. So, and because, or you could teach him double attack if you wanted to do that too, because he couldn't learn double attack.
Nope.
You had to use to do it.
But a quick thing though. I'm talking about the new Ogre Blade thing.
I don't know.
Okay.
I haven't gotten there yet because one, work, and because two, I am doing a little challenge. I am going to complete Palace of the Dead before Heim at level 36.
That is going to be quite the headache. It's going to be fun to see how that works out. Like
I've been doing a lot of prep. I've been doing a lot of setup. I went in, to get the first section. I went to the shop, which by the way didn't have the summons because I didn't complete Heim, so I'm not gonna have the summons when I march down there. But then I just finished the temples, so I got all that stuff, and now I'm just kind of making sure I'm getting all my loadout ready. Making sure, I have everything that I want before I start it. So I'm gonna be probably starting it in a couple days.
yeah. So a couple quick things, just so you know, fairies and Terror Knights 100% worthwhile at that level. Like the whole fixed percentage chance to mass bewitch thing is just it's hilarious in later POTD. I'm just saying. But by the way, what you were saying about cross classing before I forget, the new
Yeah.
Ogre Blade thing is
Mhm.
people realize that it will completely carry over any two-hander class into any other class that you body snatch into. So like people were making songstress berserkers and things like that.
Oh God.
Right. So there's options, and they will just keep all of that stuff. Apparently it's a feature, not a bug, allegedly. I don't know, that's why I have this in the background right now.
Oh, just think of this. Just think of this. Just go recruit a bunch of Hawkmen, and then you can have a flying class of whatever the fuck you want.
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much.
Oh, that's nuts.
Like
That is nuts.
I was thinking immediately, like I want to do like intimidate, lament, and friggin' berserk on a guy with a dagger. Just
Can you make flying?
What's
with
that?
that. That's gross.
Like, I don't know how
Flying.
far it goes yet, but yeah, it looks absolutely hilarious. Uh,
Yeah, it's gonna take me a while to do that since I'm doing everything before Heim, and I'm not gonna have World for a bit because I went with the princess. I didn't go with the Lord because I said to myself, if I'm gonna do everything, if I'm gonna go down to Palace of the Dead at level 36 before Heim, I'm gonna need a princess. I'm gonna need that holy water.
yeah, I went down there at the same time and ran into this. This was like before all the review embargo stuff and whatever else. Oh crap! I just hit a guy that was charmed. Oh well. So this was before all the review embargo stuff. I get to like floor 15 or whatever. I was like, yeah,
Right.
there's no way in hell I'm getting to the bottom of this before the review embargo stuff. This is gonna take
Yeah.
forever.
Uh, Someone said in the chat the voice acting is so good, and that is something I definitely want to talk about.
Yes, absolutely.
I never cared about the story in the PSP version. To me, it was just about the game. It was just about the tactics. It was just about the gameplay. Like I would skip it, and I was like, and I even not cared about it to a point where I sometimes messed up my law route because I would only do law route. I was like, oh shit, like I got to be careful because I would like skip, and like just keep pressing X, to try to get to the next thing. Like,
Oh, I
oh
know.
shit, I messed up.
I hear. I would do the
And
same thing just to mess with the story. Like, I was there for the interactions. Like, I need my boat scene, free boat.
yeah, but the voice acting is it's actually really good. And
Oh yeah,
as much as I didn't like Vice early on, like
don't like Vegeta
just
voice.
he got annoying. He got better. He sounded not as annoying in chapter 3 and in chapter 4.
Yeah, like at first he kept making me think of have you played Oblivion?
No.
Every other shopkeeper, like elf shopkeeper in Oblivion. That's anyone who's played it knows exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, it definitely grew on me, but I'm just saying, like, look up like Oblivion elf voice at some point, and you'll see what I mean.
I'll equate Vice in chapter 1 and 2 to the guy who's always screaming about Talos in Skyrim.
Yeah,
But he got better.
fair. That's fair.
So what are your dislikes?
Uh,
You have
shield immunities. I want my dang shield immunities.
Say that again.
Shield immunities. It's very oddly specific, but like one of my favorite things in the PSP version that like I was griping when One Vision took it out, were the fact that you could basically sprinkle anti debuff stuff onto your shields to get immunities. So like for example, you had the Zolia on the Espece to prevent sleep, or you had like was it the friggin' other? No, wasn't Zolia? No, dang, which one's the one that wakes people up that literally no one ever used ever? Anyway, point being, you had no charm on your tower shields. You had a permanent awakeness on your Espece and things like that. I was expecting that at some point they would patch in the missing resist skills to just like show up on those shields or something, because the default versions had resists before, and then you upgraded them to the proofs. Which again, I know like it's oddly specific to the point that who the hell paid attention to that, but it was just always one of those little touches of just like I imagine somebody going in like, wait a minute, I keep getting put to sleep by that annoying wizard out there. I wonder if I can just go sprinkle some coffee on my shield and just keep myself awake.
That is something actually I didn't like too much was so in the PSP version, like Earth Magic had Petrifog, the Water Magic had the poison, the Wind Magic had like the stagger, the Thunder Magic had the shackle,
Mhm.
and they just vanished.
What's
And I think that has to do with them going to 4 spells and 4 skills. I can't see it any other reason because are you just going to have a shackle, spell with your 4 spells, or are you going to have 3 big damage spells and 1 like, probably utility spell. And of course you're going to go with the damage. You're not going to go with the shackle. So I think that's the reason why they did that. I will say the other thing I didn't like, oh gosh, I just had it and I lost it.
Hold on, one quick interruption while you're already interrupted. Thank you for Osia for for the $5 there. That's really appreciated. But yes, we're trying hard to try to advertise this as much as we can. We're trying. We're trying.
Yeah. Well, so what I don't like is the evades. Like when you get an evade and you're trying to heal yourself, and it just eats it, and it eats your evade.
I mean, that's always kind of been a thing, though. It's like one of those, like, technically you're. I'm sorry, you can't drink your Gatorade because you put your motorcycle helmet on kind of situations.
I remembered what I didn't like. They abandoned the augment element system, and I think it's a miss because I felt like in the PSP version, getting my princess to augment light 8 was awesome because I'd say 1 through 4, you got a little bit of damage, but 5, 6, 7, and 8, those scales,
they started going nuts.
They start going nuts, and I had like Starfall and Heavenly Judge doing like 500, 600 damage, and that is very, very high in the PSP version for a spell.
Yeah, at that point you're basically just steamrolling, and like that's the thing. I was kind of conflicted on how to see all of that because I like the simplicity of the way that they've sort of blended it all down. But here's the thing. What you were saying earlier about the skill slots, like I kind of feel like they could have just been like let's say if we go look at the menu here, I know there's some delay, so this is going to take a second to catch up. But like I feel like they could have slotted this in, like let's say underneath the the element over here or something like that, just like they are specialized for this weapon kind of thing. But all things considered, I kind of love the sort of combined skill thing for trying to explain the game to people, because part of the problem was it was hard to potentially lock everything down in that situation. Like just the fact that one extra skill thing was enough for you to pretty much completely bypass armor after a certain point, tended to make it that it's like you either leave it with the ability to be broken as hell, or you basically just lock it down in some other way that still feels good to people, because they could have said, hey, you can only get rank 2 in each of those skills now, and it technically would have probably had a similar result. But I don't know, I feel like the way that they implemented it overall tends to just kind of feel good. But I mean, I get where you're coming from. Like I personally love the kind of balanced feeling right now, like just this feeling that you go into any fight. Go ahead, sorry.
Like I said, I'm sad that they abandoned the augment light system, like augment whatever, because I would get Sherry early on, and by I'm going in the Palace of Dead, my Sherry would be augment Earth rank 4, and she would do a fuck ton extra damage, and it really made you pick your characters. Like, hey, this is my go-to because her augment Earth is rank 4, and why would I use someone with augment rank 1? It felt like more an investment. But I will say, even without it, the game feels good. But a lot of the weapons in armors that used to have augment light +1, augment Earth plus whatever.
Yeah, that part is a little odd. That's true.
Yeah, it's odd, and I feel like they could have maybe added a little more stats to them, which some of them did. They if you noticed, they did sort of change some of the stats. They changed up the weapons. They changed the RT up a little bit. But overall, the general feel of the game, it's really good.
Yeah, and by the way, a quick thing. Because I can't help but notice something. There's something I've asked, Gibbed in them to confirm at some point, because, like, as far as a lot of those armor stats and things, I can't help but notice that obviously they did forget text here and there. It's a pretty expected thing, but they redid most of the text to be mostly right. And I can't help but notice that every one of those old augment pieces still mentions that same thing about their respective thingamajig here. But but here's the thing: they redid one little quirk when it came to the armor system here, where they basically mentioned like, okay, strength in earth provides resistance in lightning. That they strengthen your ability with those particular things. I can't help but notice that certain things still feel like they're maybe giving some sort of elemental bonus that only applies in certain situations. And basically, I've noticed that some bonuses, as some others have mentioned, only seem to apply when the unit and the equipment all end up kind of lining up equipment-wise. It's not officially saying that there's an augment bonus or whatever else, but it feels like there's more going on here because the way that they laid out these stats is different from the way that it was before. I don't know if that means, like, for example, right here, if it's actually adding, say 12 earth damage in some situations, or if it's literally just resistance to lightning or whatever else. A lot of these little nuances kind of got, lost in translation. But I constantly have been feeling while going through Palace of the Dead trying to figure this out that there's just more going on with the stats that we don't quite know yet. Have you been getting that too?
I feel this. I started a Switch game because I bought it on the Switch, and I have 2 archers at low level, and one of my archers, because I always do like the first or second turn, I'll like have the archers or I'll have my guys attack each other, to get that skill up. People have been doing that forever, and what I noticed is why is this archer doing 50 more damage than my other archer? They're the same level. They have the same equipment on.
Element?
Like, their attack is only like a couple off, like based in stats, and their armor was the same. But one of my archers was doing like 50 damage more. And I was like, why is that happening? And I could not figure it out. I have no idea why.
Yeah, there's a lot of those like little bits and pieces that I know that when we were going and kind of digging into the PSP version, a lot of that stuff ended up turning out to be a lot of these hidden armor mechanics and things. So I keep thinking that there is more going on that we just simply don't know yet. And, based off assumptions off PSP, might be assuming this, that, or the other, but just like every other Mizuno project, it's just never that simple. I don't know, is the plate brown? I don't know, it depends. It's partially orange and maybe not, but anyway.
Oh, shit. You got a dono, my friend.
Holy hell, nice. Thank you, Khmer Hobbies. Thank you. See, I wish my wife talked to me like Potato talks about an ogre. Oh, I appreciate that, man. I really appreciate it. Oh man.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that is insane.
Say, though, it seems like they switched the elements, like the augment light, augment dark, all that. It seems like that is more resist now. And it seems like a lot of the extra damage comes from stats, weapons, piercing, slashing. That's my guess. I just don't know how exactly it works yet. It seems like elements is now resist instead of damage. And because I think piercing and crushing only really made a difference on like golems and dragons and that stuff, and that was it. But all of that stuff now seems like it flip-flopped to me anyway.
Yeah, there's something along those lines. There definitely feels like there's still a bigger emphasis on some of the piercing stuff and whatever else. And I specifically mention this because of this lizard that's in the team here right now. So this is a guy that I've been pretty much experimenting with a bunch of weird builds with. If Evan's here right now, by the way, hi. But like this guy was running a crossbow for the longest time, just a light crossbow and shield, and that was his build for most of the dang game. And there were situations where he had like over 100 less, overall technical attack score than whatever else. Please bear in mind a lot of those, attack score numbers, so to speak, are an amalgamation of 100 different things, so that technically doesn't mean anything. But his penetration should have sucked. His skills were maxed out. And there is no element on the Damask crossbow. Yet for some reason, this guy was doing, like 100 plus extra damage over even, dedicated heavy crossbow units that had been trained with higher dexterity. It just feels like there's definitely a lot more something or other going on, and it's what led me to thinking for quite a while that there was some kind of additional strength scaling, like past a certain point, like it just tips over and goes nuts or something. Hi there, Mr. Tostones, by the way. Just saw you there, and we have like a million like comments that we should probably get to at some point too. Let's see. Significantly better to play. Systems make more sense than OV.
I will say
Let's see.
what I did, because we know in the PSP version, the percentage of your crafting, that would work would go up based on someone's strength, and I would always put it into Canopus, and I would just have him with a Balder crossbow or with the Damask +1 one-hand crossbow, because the crossbow, the finishers were really good, and that's how I built him before I gave him a Fusel, and he was doing 400, 500, 600 damage with that crossbow just because his strength and dexterity were high.
Yeah, he just straight up ignored armor. It's pretty fantastic.
Yeah. Oh yeah, let's talk about the crafting system. I mean, thank goodness, like 100% all the time, right? But they changed them.
So I'm loving the weird minigame there, like the sort of like you gotta get one book to make another book to get another book to get another book thing. It's just kind of fun. I don't know. Like, I know it's minor, but it's just kind of fun to be like, yeah, I'm sorry, you need to attach this claw to this other sword to make this bigger sword. We're not gonna let you make it right away. Just feels like it creates more of a story.
The only thing I'll say is that my mage is having linen slops in chapter 4 sucked.
Yeah, that could have done.
That sucked. I wish we could get. I will say the progression of the story, in how we progressed, and in some of the story fights, like you had to have a strategy for some of those fights, because this is what I had to do for one of the mountain story fights. It was the one with the mage in the back, and I think it was chapter 3. I had to go to the Wildwood and get 3 lava dragons, because I at that point I had no units that were like high HP. I had to level them up a bit, and I basically treated them as, okay, you guys are gonna go with Rampadora, keep everyone like away from my main DPS guys, and they just ate a bunch of damage because they could lava walk. They kept the other dragons at bay who were fucking me up, and then like I was doing all my setup to just kill the mage in the back, who had like 3 magic damage ups, who could just like one-shot a unit, because the first time I went in there, I just got my ass kicked. And some of those story fights, like, that happened to me. Like, just going in thinking, oh yeah, I'll just go in and, slap them around, and I got slapped around. And I really liked that progression of like, hey, you gotta like actually think about it, because in the PSP version, I mean, you could just over level, over gear. You could, in chapter 3 you could have thunder bows.
Oh yeah,
if you really wanted to. So.
Hell, in chapter 1 you could be running out like max og friggin' road bows. Just triple 999s off Death Whale.
I really did like the progression of how hard things got. Like, you had to have a strategy, and I'll say this: the hardest fight that I've come across so far, because I haven't done Heim yet, it was the Oz and the other Dark Knight fight. Because
the Balzfon one,
I was able to kill Oz pretty quickly and pretty easily. He did fuck me up a little bit, but the other guy, I forget his name, he went on top of the pillars.
Crazy in the stash.
He just went on top of the pillars and kept casting magic down on him, like, this motherfucker. And I had to tear it back, like, I don't know how many times, to try to knock him off to kill him.
Oh yeah, so fun little trick by that point. So I had a different version, but fun little trick though is you can get like a couple flyers with shields, and then you can go get a long range paradigm shift. So you get 2 casters and 2 flyers, and then you just basically like chain shield bash them off using paradigm shift as long as it'll last, and then just straight into a dog pile. Oh, that mess is fun. I had that situation come up with Mercure over in Heim there. He's like one of the first wall guards that you run into, And in the PSP version, he was a total curb stomp. The guy would just go full chump mode and charge ahead, despite being a flimsy Swordmaster, and he would just instantly die every time. All you had to do to win the fight before was just sit still, and he would run up and get himself killed with a counter. It was a total joke. And then this time he's like coming in with the warlocks, and they're setting up the golems in formation up in the front, and he's there buffing all of them, and the archers are shooting down. I'm like, man, they tried, they did good. He actually grew a brain.
I could just walk up, because Denem, he starts like a couple spaces front. He would be like a level 30 ninja or something. I don't know the level, but I would just walk up to Oz, double attack, he's dead.
Yeah,
that's what that fight to be. And I was like, it took me almost an hour to beat it, and I was streaming it too. I remember, it was rough. I got it done, but it was rough because I'm like trying not to lose units because if the unit dies, it's gone. It's not the 3 heart system from PSP.
Oh hell, I've been running casualties for days.
Oh no, I can't let units die.
Like, well, as long as we won, we're carrying on. I lost, like, let's see, I lost, who was it? I lost my Lich, I lost one of my backup Berserkers, and I lost 2 Burb, 3 Furious, one of my longest running Hawkmen, to Candace and Palace of the Dead here, just recently. That fight was something else, good lord. I mean, these guys are... I mean, technically, when you were saying running this at 32... I mean, these guys are running a lot of, pretty decent gear at this point. They're pretty decently charmed up and all of this other business, and that was a pretty thorough ass whooping. I'm just saying.
Oh, I bet.
It's gonna be fun.
I fully intend to get my ass whooped at level 36 when I march down there before Heim with no summons. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get my ass whooped.
Fair, just so you know, the friggin' loot in here drops like candy. Like when I came in here, I had almost nothing on the relics front. I've got a full stinky set on that Valk over there. I've got what the hell was it? I know I've got at least a couple of them. I've got pumpkin Stoffelies with almost the full dark deeds set. This right here, just a friggin' Cupido bow, eagle eye nonsense over here has been an absolute carry. Just throwing that out there if you want to... a nice little cheat mode here.
Does that have charm on it?
Yeah. Upgrade a Crescent at the shop, get a Cupido bow. I think the upgrade even came from Palace of the Dead. And yeah, no, it's just their attacks become your attacks. It's just great. So yeah, that's been wonderfully up there in terms of bullshit potential. Like, I love archers for a reason. They're so dang good.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about the archer debate, because a lot of people are saying, they suck, they're nerfed, and whatever. And I will say this: it felt like Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, they were still good. They weren't overpowered. Chapter 3 and Chapter 4, they fell off. But what I've noticed now is that I have one Indra bow right now, because I haven't gotten another Crescentia bow yet to level up to another one. But my Fusils are still doing more damage than my archer right now.
Yeah, so Fusils... Oh, go ahead.
I made Vice and the Pirate a Fusiler instead of keeping them a Ranger because of the crit. And I think archers are still going to come out on top in the end, like when you get like the dark bow, when you get the light bow, when you get like all the relics and everything. But I think what's gonna also be very interesting with the Fusil is, I think the cursed Fusil is going to be better than any bow.
So a weird quirk. There's like the archer scaling thing is hilarious. Like they will scale way, way, way harder than everybody else. Like their whole thing is actually one quick step back here. If we look back at PSP and whatever else, they always love their historical notes in this game. And so it was basically always a kind of a historical note that they seemed to go for, of like, guns taking over for bows at a certain point. And so it kind of seemed like that's what they were going for with this one, where they're like, oh, hey, look, you have guns still penetrating armor while these bows are suddenly having a hard time of it. But technically speaking, if you can ruin armor through any means whatsoever, these guys can easily be throwing out like 1500s like nothing. So like,
hold on.
Yeah, it gets insane.
Sorry about
But like the thing with archers is I feel a lot of times folks will be staring at them looking only for damage, and it's like you technically can be doing a lot more. You can be doing a lot more with them than just damage. They're a lot more situational, but I will say just their ability to avoid deflect alone this time around. So like the arrow suddenly counts as a bullet for one shot and guarantees the debuff. That alone has absolutely sold me on them. Just kind of throw that out there.
Yeah, their end game is nuts. That is for sure. They didn't change that with archers, which I'm very happy about. So archers aren't dead, everyone. They're still good. They just take a little longer to get there.
If you want the damage, it's like at the start and at the end. Yeah. But like in the middle, that tricky phase, dude, I love how tricky they can be this time. Like, look at this, okay? This is my default archer that I started the game with, just generic nothing, didn't even throw many things on them, right? Guaranteed stuns, for one thing, but for another thing, just the fact that this time around it's actually viable for them to carry around daggers, because something gets in your front line, and it's like, the number of options here are like, okay, you're dealing with flyers, dark wait. You're dealing with somebody that's far away that you can't really, deal with right now, put them to sleep. You got the same old charm and shackle things from before, although I have to say Flaming Blast scales extremely well, so very good counter against ice units. But if you have earth units, which a lot of heavier units will be, Heart Crusher scales like crazy for them. They're really good with daggers. Like, I've seen this one over here throwing out 700s with this stupid thing. I mean, somebody gets close, Shadow Pin, for whatever reason, incredibly accurate for them. That's what's led me to believe that it somehow scales off of agility for debuff chance instead of mind this time around. But, like, you got all these little bits and pieces showing up all over the place that they can play with that just gives them a lot more viability than oftentimes might be obvious. But anyway,
yeah, I think because I didn't like I'll say that I didn't like Swordmasters and PSP.
Oh, they sucked.
I felt like Ogre was the only, like, okay, like, he can be good just because the space stats and those reduced RT were good, but Holbrim slaps in this version.
Oh, he does. By the way.
And they did a good job of bringing the stuff that was at the top and bringing them down just a little bit. Still made them really good. You made Holbrim a Fusilier.
Absolutely. I always love making him a Fusilier, and I know the devs like this meme because why on earth is there preempt on a gun now? Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you give a blind man a musket?
Oh, that's fantastic. I might have to do that.
He's so good with a friggin' gun, though. Just saying.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, but as I was saying, I think it's so they brought things that were at the top, and they brought them down just a little bit. They didn't kill them, and a lot of things that were very on the low end, like
the
Swordmaster, like any other classes, they brought them up, and they made it so, like, if you put the time in to your units, like, they'll be fine and they'll be good and they'll work for you. Because, like, Swordmaster was probably one of the worst units in the game. Like, a warrior might even been better than a Swordmaster in the PSP version.
Oh yeah, it's not even close. They 100% that's the case. They stood no chance whatsoever. But, man, in terms of weird builds, by the way, can we take a quick second to appreciate how amazing the Patriarch is this time? Like, I made this guy into a straight-up RuneScape character right now, and he still works. He's just running around here with his spells and his poison dagger, and this just works for some reason. This actually functions, and the dude's basically running his overhead prayers over here with his intercessions and ivory tower. Man, it's nuts. Let's see. Since dodging practically doesn't exist, they are done. Oh, so actually, weird thing on dodge. by the way. So I've been testing this a whole bunch through POTD. As far as dodge goes, I feel like the odds have been weighted like, I don't know, almost in an FFT sense. Like, have you been getting that too, where it feels like for example, if you use something like let's say a smoke bomb and a like a Jewel of the Avatar or something like that, where it just feels like nothing hits them anymore?
I feel like magic misses more than melee attacks do.
True.
That's been it for me. Like a magic spell from the enemy will just randomly miss than a ranged attack or a melee.
Yeah, overheads can be dodged now. That was a weird one. Like, you can never dodge overheads in any version of these games. Well, I guess except for March of the Black Queen, but that's, I mean, anyway. Man, I love how evil Pumpkin Stoffleys looks.
How are the beasts? Because like for me, it happened again in, because this is what I did in the PSP version. I always get a Beastmaster early. I always get a couple Griffins. I always get a couple Octopuses. I always get a couple Dragons. But by the time Chapter 4 rolls around, I just don't use them anymore.
So I think it depends. Like, I have to say, like, for example, the Griffin over here, right? This guy was doing fine for me even into Dorgy and stuff like that. Like, I've just been using them as a support. Like, for the Griffin, just having a revive support, absolutely excellent. Like, they are just bar none, just showing up to completely carry the team. It's like you suddenly start losing, and then the Griffins arrive to suddenly save everybody. Like, oh, I'm sorry, a revive for you, a revive for you. Oh, did I just eat like 8 hits? Ah, well, full heal from me. Like,
Okay,
they just have so much bulk. Like, it's, you know what? I kept seeing a comparison to like competitive Pokemon games that the Griffin is basically the Clefable of this game. It's like here to just be the bulky support that can just barely survive enough to be massively oppressive.
he's the flying medic.
Pretty much, I just viewed him as the team support helicopter. I had a Fridge Adventure over here who basically entirely has to live off XP charms, which I should probably give him more of at this point. He exists just to die and come back and throw out more poison rain.
So I got a question for you.
Shoot.
Do you think this is the last version of the game that we're going to see in terms of are they going to add any DLC? Like maybe they'll add a couple chapters or something.
Given how well it's done, I'd be shocked if they didn't do DLC at this point. Like, it's been doing way better than anything else in the series so far by miles. I mean, it's been staying on top like top 20 lists for like almost a month now, which when has that ever happened for the series, you know?
Never. And Tactics Ogre has always been, I think, like when we're talking tactics games, it's top 3.
Yeah.
In my book. Like,
oh yeah. For folks asking, by the way, they didn't patch the Baldur blowgun thing. They were actually saying it was a Christmas present, so see that as you will.
Yeah, so if you make any new games, make sure you do it before Christmas, because it might go away. It might not.
Yeah, I mean, technically there's been a infinite money exploit in every one of these games, but, you know.
I will say when I found out about it, when I saw whoever made the video, I was like, oh, thank God, because I was like,
infinite money exploit. I don't know what you're talking about.
I was like, I need money now, like because the not having magic seeds really was rough until I got the staves. So I would buy the fruit of the whatevers, even like just for my melee units to get like 15 to 20 MP, you know, round 1, which was really helpful.
Yeah, those the Fruit of the Adepts have been a nice little welcome change. And I wonder, it's just been interesting to see items that that never got any love before getting love. Like, it's just a weird little lore quirk to see that the MP leaves are entirely just picked locally off the ground, and it can just it gives this nice little feeling of like, hey, the locals are just picking the plants that are growing by there. They're so common that the shops don't feel the need to stock them. It I know it's probably reading too much into it, but I just love that as a thought process.
I wish we could farm them a little more, because as of right now,
you can.
They're just kind of random. Well, like, yeah, technically you can, but like you have to go really out of your way for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like, so funnily enough, I have the old PSP guide, and technically, as far as those locations, what's that?
I have that book too.
Yeah, I just have it sitting in bubble wrap on my desk over here. The thing's so friggin' tissue thin, it's not even funny. It's not leaving that bubble wrap. But
my dad, I think the front cover is missing on his. We had to buy another one.
Yeah, it's something else. Like, I don't know why. Okay, obviously, if they tried to make it out of real paper, it probably would have taken too much to make, because like the guide still barely says anything in it, and it's 400 plus pages.
I mean, that book was just like, here's the story elements. They're not going to tell you everything about the story elements. Here's the maps of what you're going to be fighting, and here's the weapons. Well, some of the weapons and armor that are in the book, because in the back of the book with the weapons and armor, some of them are question marks with just like the stats on them.
Yeah,
so they don't tell you the name. They don't tell you how to get them.
Like, this is so mysterious. Did you know the assassin blade exists? No, you don't.
I remember looking at the Palace of the Dead loot table on there, and I was like, we can get all this stuff, great, but like, how do I get it?
You don't, and that's the trick. I gotta say, it's been so nice to be able to actually go through Palace of the Dead and get stuff this time. That was one of my biggest gripes that they definitely addressed in One Vision, but like, look, these dudes are actually running equipment. It's great. It's great.
Yeah. So let's talk about the rogue class.
All right. By the way, before we go into that real quick, yes, I put the Terranite in just because somebody said the Terranites drop off. Dude, that Terranite has done so much work in Palace of the Dead, it's not even funny. Anyway, moving on. You need a damage mitigation class at this point, I'm just saying.
So, I don't mind the rogue class being removed. Like, yeah, it kind of sucks, but this is my take on it. They didn't want us stealing gear.
Yep.
And I think that's the only reason why he was taken out.
It would have been probably an infinite grind of sorts. It's a weird quirk. I forget if we discussed that for some... Okay, it's because they were DLC or whatever else in the PSP version. It's like they technically had a different AI to them. That was kind of the official reason given. Where basically, because they had to somehow think about using their traps and all this other thing, it basically was causing issues supposedly on the player end. But honestly, same here, that I just feel like they would have been a little bit redundant. They're just the Sporogmos guy that sometimes has claws in this version. They're like, if there was a technical reason like that, I really don't care that they're not here. I haven't felt it.
Look at Benedict's comment. Pickpocket the 4 slots.
I mean, that would have been kind of cool, though. Have you played Fellseal?
I have not, no.
Okay, there's a mechanic in that one where basically, like, your entire inventory is just a set thing that restocks after every fight. And so there's this whole kind of back and forth mechanic that it's the reason that they start you off with a thief in your team, where you basically just steal items back and forth. So, like, if you want to prevent the other team from reviving, you can just go in and repeatedly steal until you steal their revive items, or charm them into wasting their items on your guys. It was a really cool thing, but yeah, I'm not really sure how exactly it would work here, but either way.
Yeah, I hope they have DLC for this, and add new units or add new story or new chapters or something. I think they need to grow the series. because I mean, this version of the game has been, well, you know, from the first one, it's been made. This is the second time it's been remade now.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see the whole origin story behind the eye patch. Like, that seems like a very perfect little, you know, side story chapter, and it would basically be another case where just everything to do with Tardy's backstory. It's just short backstory chapters. I'm like, I'd play that side story, just saying. Just a fun little invasion campaign of Zenobia.
Someone's asking you your opinions on the Knights of Lotus in the chat.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. Like, of all the games, it's probably the most nostalgic for me personally. And I just saw that comment too. I'm like, I have the OBS window to the left here, and I tried playing a few times with the delay on like the stream chat thingy, but it's so far delayed that I can't actually do anything with that. But yeah, no, Knight of Lotus, I absolutely love that one. Like, it's back when I was a kid there, like it was just like me and the Game Boy SP playing like Tactics Advance and KOL just religiously every day, just running through the thing with increasingly just asinine rule sets. You know, where have we seen that before? It's like, I just want to do it with just bow guns, like just knives and guns. It's the modern infantry run, you know, that kind of thing.
What my dad always does in his PSP version of the game, he would just recruit a bunch of Hawkman archers and just kill everything with crossbows and bows.
Yeah, the KOL version was basically like, you live and die 10 damage at a time, because of the way that damage rubber banding worked in that one. It's like, congratulations, you're always doing 10 to 11 regardless of whatever you're doing, because you've bottomed out your minimum value so hard that like, you can't even touch anything anymore with these dinky little bow guns. What are you thinking? But yeah, I love how it's like low-key got the happiest ending in the entire series, but it's non-canon. Let's go retire to go bang in the woods.
Have you gotten Warren or Lancelot yet in this game?
No, I'm about to. This is floor like friggin' 114 or something right now.
Very nice.
Like, just
did you make sure your Warren was all right?
Yes, she's right here.
You don't want that?
She's right here. I'm not redoing that process. Oh my god, I don't know if you've seen any of the old runs on the channel or whatever else, but there was a solo run from years ago. Went through all of it and redid everything up to Heim and forgot to redo Hanging Gardens, and thought I was just fine for it. Did all of Coda 2. I was like, why is there no Coda 3?
That happened to me.
So then went back in time and killed Barbas with his own gun, but you know, it's all his fault.
Yeah, I had a PSP game that I was just like, this sucks, because like I spent like so much time into it, and I was like, all right, let's go do Coda, and I just got stuck because someone was dead in my Warren port. I'm like, I have to go all the way back chapter 4 and go redo Heim, and then go Palace of the Dead, and then go clear Coda, and it's like, oh my god, it's so much.
The funny part is, so many guides were completely wrong on it, because technically there was only one thing that you had to do, and that was just make sure the casual was alive. Everybody else you could just drag, you know, back from whatever their timeline was, and you were fine. But like, every other guide that was posted on the dang thing was like, no, you gotta have everybody alive and well and everything else, and there was so much disinformation about that game, it's not even funny. Which, honestly, who can blame them? There's so much stuff that's complicated.
Yeah, I mean, even like I was making a couple of like how to recruit videos or how to unlock ancient temple videos on my channel, and people were saying like, no, this, like, I did this and this didn't happen, and I have to like go in the comment section, like, try to help them figure it out. I'm like, why is this so difficult? Like, why can't it be clear cut? Like, we still don't have answers on everything.
It is clear cut.
Even one person told me in the comments, like, I just kind of turned my game off and turned it back on, and then like this was showing red when it wasn't before. That's Tactics Ogre for you.
So, it is clear cut. You know what it is? It's a Matsuno game. It's made by crazy people. That's what it is. And by the way, before it disappears to Magetsu over here, as far as a fairy only run, that was one of the first runs I ever posted. The audio quality is atrociously bad. I've been meaning to redo that one for ages, like at least audio wise. It's where Steve the Murder Fairy in every one of these runs comes from. Sorry, I was asking if we ever tried a fairy only run. It gets really wild in Night of Lotus. Like, it's absolute insanity. Just nothing can touch them in the end game. And you can do this weird thing where you stack up all of them on the last boss, and then every time that you boost them up, they're getting a temporary buff kind of situation. To the point where you can have a fairy that normally can't do any damage, just like, well, more or less three-shotting the final boss. But anyway, they're very, very weak in both KOL and OP64. March of the Black Queen, though, they're basically friggin' fighter jets with lasers. Alright, let's see.
Did you ever play Dragon Quest III?
I have played the intro of it and then was really looking forward to playing the rest of it, and then totally forgot it existed because that device got destroyed that same day. Because I had this well, I say I had a modded PSP. It's more like I'm constantly shuffling between modded PSPs. I revived those things as a hobby. But yeah, no, that I loved the intro to
Dragon
that one.
Quest 3. Oh yeah, Dragon Quest 3 made me fall in love with the RPG tactics kind of games, and I still love Dragon Quest 3 more than Tactics Ogre, but I think Tactics Ogre is my second favorite game.
Yeah,
and anyone in the chat, if you haven't played Dragon Quest 3, definitely go play it.
It seemed like it was very, very well made, and I saw that intro. I'm like, this is a really, really cool way to do a personality test intro.
Oh, you got the porn bot in the chat.
Uh-oh. Dang it. Hang on. We gotta get rid of that. Why are there always so many of these guys?
Dude, I get them on my channel, and I have less than 100 subs.
Yeah, they're very prevalent. It's kind of wild.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not sure what you're really getting for here. People are showing up for depressing chests, not really the boobs, but, you know. Like, what I find funny, though, is, like, especially this game, is, like, the least... It was one of the most surprisingly wholesome things whenever, like, a while ago I was looking for stuff to use for thumbnails or whatever. And there's, like anything else, you look up thumbnails without putting like a safe search on or something like that, and Google will be like, hey, so would you like would you like to make your search history very questionable? Meanwhile, if you ever do that with Tactics Ogre, it's weirdly wholesome. Like, it's just a bunch of maps and tiles and people high-fiving and stuff. It's like, cool. This is awesome. Oh, well, bye, Gerald the generic Terranite. Anyway.
Or people talking about, you know, Coda and the discrepancies of, you have to have this, you have to do this, you have to do this before Heim, you have to do this after Heim.
Yeah, it gets confusing quick. The simplest way to just do one thing at a time. There's so many folks that go in, like, trying to do every single thing 100% on their first playthrough. Like, you are going to burn yourself out so quick.
Yeah.
Like, I've used the example of, like, oh yeah, go into friggin' like Skyrim or something and try to 100% it on your first go. Let me know how that goes, because it's the same deal here. It's like, it's not possible by design.
No, it's not.
Let's see, aren't you gonna chariot and save your Terranite? No, both he and his Shaitan's Belova are now gone. He fell down whole. He is history. He's been with me since chapter 2.
I have a question.
Go for it.
The equipment that character have on you, if they die, do you lose that equipment?
If they die and they bleed out, they drop it in a bag. But if they fall down the hole, it's gone.
Ouch.
So yeah, everything that he had. Let's see, he had the Shaitan's Belova. I want to say he had like a Phoenix Mail or something. I'm not sure.
That's
either way,
rough.
I kind of like it as an immersion feature. Like, a lot of the mentality of this game really makes me think of XCOM. I love that. Oh, I forgot to put on Sanguine for Mr. Pumpkin Stoffles over here. I think he's the only one that's... No, Pumpkin Stoffles can fly. Almost everybody on this team can fly. I literally forgot to put a flying item on the Terror Knight. So, you know, whoever was saying Terror Knights were bad, it's all your fault. His blood is on your hands. His generic ass is now a pancake on the bottom.
Is there anything else we want to touch on?
Let's see. As far as the music, oh my goodness. Like,
oh yeah, music is always top notch.
I mean, I've had the PSP version on my driving playlist for a while, and I've had this weird experience now where every time it comes on, I'm like, where's the strings? I need my string build up. I need my Vivaldi. Where is it? Like, I'm grotesquely missing something very important in this music right now. It's like, especially at Villahania, that build-up is so good. Man. It gets me every time.
Yeah, I like a lot of the boss battle music. They don't miss on those.
Oh, no. And, man, the new end boss theme, which it sounds like you haven't gotten there yet, right?
I have not, no.
Phase 2 Dorgy has new music. It is really good. He earns that boss music. It's nice. It's just so nice to see. By the way, if there's a bunch of random video lag on this, I'm not sure what that's all about right now. Let's see, has the KOL biorhythm math been cracked yet? Yeah, some guy who I assume to have the craziest of math degrees figured that out a while ago, and did like a 3-page breakdown of all of that stuff on, I don't know if it was GameFAQs or something. And even then, it made no logical sense to try to figure that out. As far as the exact starting date and what birthdays do and all of that type of stuff for the sake of speedruns, ain't got the foggiest. Sorry. It's still a total mystery there.
The starting questions don't make a huge difference anymore since the HP values are really high now. They used to... I mean, I remember when I would do those starting questions, I would like, okay, I'm getting like as high as HP as possible.
Fair enough.
Like
yeah.
with as much strength as I can get. But they don't really matter anymore. You just kind of answer whatever you want to.
So I've heard there was a guide that somebody put out a little bit ago that I was hoping to hear from like Gibbed or Rakes or someone in terms of whether it was actually accurate, trying to claim that allegedly when it came to the starting questions that there were some additional quirks to it this time around. Like supposedly you get better stat rolls if the month aligns with your birthday or something. Again, it was unclear. Like I'm not sure what they were getting at there. I left a comment on that guide trying to figure out what on earth they were going on about. I mean, it could be. I wouldn't be surprised. Again, it feels like there's always going to be 1,000,001 different mechanics to these games. So,
when it comes to Square Enix, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, there's always going to be something. Like, would absolutely not be shocked whatsoever. I mean, it's funny to me that as far as flack for remakes and whatever else, there was. I remember one of the biggest excitements I've seen was from somebody that really, really loved Legend of Mana when they got remade. Because they went in and they like redid the entire crafting system of that one to make more sense, and it was still completely obscure and technically made no sense on a like you could try to explain it for a month straight and I would never understand what the hell you're going on about kind of thing. But yeah, it got remade to such a way that allegedly the golem system in that one was actually usable. For anyone that's never played Legend of Mana, you could literally you could just create custom followers in that one that were robots. So you were just like in your little like medieval fantasy world, whatever else, and it's just like, I want this robot to have rocket launchers and laser guns and follow me around playing music. And they're like, okay, here you go. Here's all these different ways that you can craft different chipsets for this thing to function. Like, here's all these different mechanics, and none of it made a lick of sense. But it technically worked. It's such a wild game, man.
Have some war drums following you around, huh?
Pretty much, man. That game is a trip. I've been waiting for it to go on sale to just get it on Switch, but uh, but yeah, it's another one of those remakes that they did a really good job on. All right, let's see. Someone else fell down a hole. Yeah, they blasted the Fusilier down the hole. I think that brings me up to like, I don't know, 10 or so total casualties in Palace of the Dead, something like that. Anyway, they're dead. Long live the next one.
I could not let that happen.
See, I find it interesting to do it this way, only because it gives you interesting little opportunities here and there to do dumb stuff. Like, I've got Oleus in the background as a witch in order to replace another witch that got blasted off a cliff. Oh yeah, because Olivia was the dedicated damage dealer, or like magic damage dealer, so she died. And then I had Oleus kind of filling that gap there, which then also had some other units dying, and then their roles had to be filled, and just makes you try out new kind of dumb builds over and over. I don't know. I just like that stuff. But
there's definitely way more build options in Reborn than there is in Let Us Clean Together. That is for damn sure. Let Us Clean Together was just like, all right, like, and like you can make some stupid builds and Let Us Clean Together, but it was more of
it was pretty involved, that's for sure.
Yeah, it was a lot of the gear made a lot of the difference, and not the character and you know, like it is in Reborn. I think gear mattered way more, and in this game it's more of a lot of setup. It's everything. You know, you have to put a lot into it to get it to be crazy, but you can do it with a lot more different classes and units now.
Yeah, there's a lot more of that, like, ooh, I wonder if this dumb thing will, oh, it worked kind of situations. I love that.
Like
it's all aha moments.
Dragon Bane and Dragon Slayer doing 3,000, 4,000 damage. That's just stupid.
Oh yeah, and I mean, one thing that I wish that I could get across to so many of the folks that are trying the game for the first time is like, look, the reason the boss one-shotted you isn't their stats. The stats don't matter as much as they seem like they do. It's always gonna be like there's a massive elemental weakness, and they completely miss the fact that there's a massive elemental weakness, and they're like, why did they die? This was bullshit. And like, well, let's see. I mean, that guy over there says ice. That one over there is fire and has bigger number. His bigger number mean more when fire hit ice.
Also, you know, because they start with like either 2 damage up physicals or 2 damage up magic, and they're just gonna do a shit ton more damage than you.
Yeah, so. And like I literally was when I was telling you I was editing together a debuff video. It was like part of that video was basically like, okay, look, you can even turn that to your advantage, because you can basically create the situation where it's like, okay, I have this this guy that's technically weak to this element over here. The AI likes to target units that are weak to that element. So, for example, you know, like a little while ago I was doing this, like, how to do bosses with only crossbows kind of deal, right? And so, for example, the guy is water, he would always go and use his finishers on a guy that was fire. And so basically just had the guy that was running fire put a bunch of defensive buffs and like weaken his offense at the same time, and suddenly it's like, okay, now I can basically predict that he is going to consistently go after that guy, so we can just make sure that that is not a kill and have, you know, backup plans to deal with his health situation afterwards. And so you can just kind of create the situation where you're basically funneling and controlling a boss around by the nose, just with a couple little tweaks. So it's like those kinds of situations where it's like you can turn anything to your advantage. It feels good. Like, it's just a matter of having that mindset of like, okay, you know, is this my problem? How can I make it his problem, kind of thing.
Right. Well, I gotta get going, you know, since I gotta go serve some people.
Fair enough. It's nothing to do with burgers.
If you don't mind me being a sellout here on your show.
How dare you?
Guys, my name is Hutch. I'm gonna link my YouTube in the chat if you want to follow me. My Twitter is just @HutchServes, and yeah, I'm gonna be streaming Palace of the Den run at level 36. But definitely, coffee's amazing. I think what he's doing is great, and I'm happy to do a chatter podcast with him, and probably do a couple more going forward. And
I'm obsessive.
We'll see how it goes.
But yeah, this has been fun.
70 minutes late.
Oh, shoot.
Lucas just said he's 70 minutes late. That's all right, Lucas. You can, wake up in the morning tomorrow morning or at night, before you go to sleep and catch it.
Wake up at 3 a.m. just to watch it.
No.
Oh, man. But yeah, we should do another one of these at some point.
Yeah, for sure.
It was one of those rare opportunities where chaos all lined up for a moment.
Lined up chaos is always the best kind of chaos.
Exactly. Unless it's neutral. Neutral has more tragedy.
Dude, fuck neutral route.
I love neutral. Don't diss my neutral. I need everybody's plans to succeed and fail at the same time.
The neutral route is the absolute worst. Like, I'm a fan of law route just because of all the characters that you can get. And I did chaos route once to try to get Cassandra, and it didn't work out because I had no idea about the chaos frame bullshit thing. And I just said, fuck chaos route. And then I decided, all right, I'm going to do neutral route. And I was like, damn, neutral route is like worse than chaos route, even without getting Cassandra.
Technically Cressida, but either difference. See, I just love it because of how badly everything goes for everybody involved. It's just like this massive thing of everybody's got all their plans, and it's the one time they all line up in like perfect succession, like, man, everybody's winning at the same time, and then it all goes completely haywire just because one guy shows up at the wrong place at the wrong time. It's just a beautiful tragedy.
Yeah. I just stick to law. I like Ozma too much.
Fair enough. Yeah,
right,
if I got them in this route, they'd probably be dead already. All right.
All right, everyone. We'll catch you later. Hopefully, we'll do one of these soon. And yeah, like I said, I'll be streaming my level 36 Palace of the Dead challenge if you want to catch that.
Yep, definitely. Remember to send me a link to that one. And by the way, Magetsu, I saw that comment 3 separate times. I'm sorry. I keep missing it. And yes, you can definitely cheese the intro by stealing the Lombardia. Funnily enough, the Lombardia is different this time around. 2 different versions, 2 different skills on it. It's an odd time. Anyway, sorry. Go on.
All right. See you later, everyone.
All right. See ya. Take care. And thanks for stopping by.